Hi, Tracy Eaglemeyer here of VintagepreneurUniversity.com, where I help vintage sellers start, grow, and scale their businesses on Etsy. I also own my own vintage business on Etsy, Rustic Eye. And today I wanted to talk to you about a newish tip or trick that I've been using lately that I discovered to help gain insight into my actual buyers' purchasing decisions. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I've jumped behind the screen here and I am in my orders and shipping. These are my past orders and shipping, and I'm leaving the buyer's name and information off the screen here on purpose because of course I want to respect their privacy. But if you click on the little arrow next to the name of your buyer, and you go to view user profile, you will be able to see favorited items and shops that your buyer has in their profile. So that's pretty valuable information. And the first thing that I wanted to point out that you can do with that information is you can find ideas for keywords. So you can as you saw, I had sold vintage stamps to this particular buyer, and we can see here that she had favorited quite a few other stamps. There's more down here at the bottom. None of these are vintage stamps, so it's first of all interesting to me how she ended up buying a vintage stamp when she really wasn't looking at vintage stamps. It tells me that I probably have some of the keywords, some good keywords already in order for her to have found me in her searches. But I can look here and get ideas for, first of all, what other keywords are being used. So, for example, even just by looking at the titles, if I scroll over here, I can see that this listing has DIY card making, which I do already use those keywords. But if I keep looking, I just might find other keywords that I hadn't previously thought of. It's also going to show me, okay, if assuming that this person is within my target market, what other types of things is she looking at? So if I start to explore a little further, I see that she's really looking at planner items and journals and those types of things. And I've already kind of tapped into that. I've noticed that people use stamps a lot for planners, bullet journals, those types of things. But if I didn't know that, that might be a clue as to another part of a market that I can tap into that is similar or that works for my target market and my products. So it's really a good way to kind of look around and see what other types of things are associated with what my buyer is looking for and interested in, and if it makes sense to include those things in my keywords, my titles, my tags, my descriptions, etc. So the second thing is it gives quite a bit of insight into your target market and the types of things that they're interested in. And the third thing is it gives you it could give you a peek into who your competition is. So you can, another kind of back way to look at who your competition might be. If you search for your keywords, you might find some of your competition via a search, but this is telling you exactly who your buyer was looking at. And maybe they bought something from that other shop too, but they did buy something from you, and that's important. So you can start to look at what they're doing versus what you're doing, and see if you can gain insight to any tweaks that you might want to do, or notice things that are working that you can expand upon. Okay, now I've jumped back to my orders so I can show you one more example. I just wanted you to see here what this customer bought from me. She bought a sign letter, actually 3 sign letters, B and J, and then a vintage cow rubber stamp. So let me take you into her user profile to see if we can get any insight. So here we are in her user profile and her favorited items, and as you can see, she doesn't have any other sign letters favorited or anything like that. But the first thing I noticed, and you can probably notice as well, is she's looking at wedding type items. So she's probably planning a wedding. Here are wedding invitations, wedding dresses, jewelry, all those kinds of things. A bridal hairpiece. So I would say it's pretty safe to guess that she is planning a wedding. Here's all kinds of engagement jewelry. So I'm going to assume that she probably bought that B and J, those sign letters, for her wedding. And so that gives me insight that this particular customer was looking for wedding items and found my items, which is a pretty great insight to have. You can either go back and make sure you're using related keywords like wedding decor, for example, in my case, in your listing, or you can add them if you need to. You might even look and see if there's any type of a theme, like maybe boho wedding decor. And if that's the case, maybe you want to start including boho wedding decor, in your tags. And this is all just kind of speculating. It's going to be different for you. So the point being that there's insight to be had here. So take a look at the user profiles of your buyers and get some insight to see if there's anything there that can help you. So I hope you liked this tip. If you want to get all my tips and tricks, you can get them at vintagepreneuruniversity.com/secret, and I will link to that in the notes below too. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell so you get notified whenever I publish a new video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.